The following screencasts will deal with financial issues within Excel. First, Excel offers predefined functions for all kind of financial mathematics. If you go to the tab Formulas, into the group Function Library, you will find the menu Financial, and in here you will find some functions all dealing with financial issues. Then second, you should always use the correct number format, something with the euro sign or a dollar sign depending on which currency you're dealing with. And very good and very helpful if you have negative values, like for example this -50, then the values should be displayed in red. That's quite usual within Excel. And so what you can do in here, you can see the currency, more number formats, and you see those ones which use red coloring, a red layout, are negative. Then if you would like to do some calculations, in this case, for example, you have a credit, you have a given interest rate, you like to have a certain duration for the credit, and you would like to pay back everything, meaning you have a final debt of €0. Then you would like to find out how much is, for example, a monthly installment. Here you have a function PMT, and you can see, and that's true for many of those functions in finance, that you have quite some parameters. So what I propose, what I recommend is to use the formula builder. This helps you always to find out which parameters have to be used. So you can see here, for example, you have the parameters, PMT stands for payment, you have the parameters rate, the interest rate per year, and PER, the number of payments you're doing, PV, present value, so the 100,000 credit, future value, that's in our case a final debt of 0, and a type, which, for example, in this case means if you pay at the beginning of a period, the beginning of a month, or do you pay at the end of the month. It's important to see that these parameters can as well be functions. So if you do this kind of calculation and you're not interested in the amount of the installment, but you know already you would like to pay €1,000, then you can see, for example, what interest rate you have to go for, or how long do you have to do your payment. So if you go in here into this formula bar and you enter, for example, rate, you see rate is a function by itself, and you have basically the same parameters as before, just payment is no longer a function but now a parameter, and that's basically true for all of these. Finally, you should note the following. The interest rate is always given for a year, so we have a 5% interest rate per year. If, however, you have to do monthly payments, monthly installment, then you have to divide the interest rate by 12 to have monthly interest rates. And quite similar, usually you do not talk about a duration, but you talk about number of payments you're doing to pay the credit back. So you have, if you think about a 10 years contract, you have to think about a duration of 10 years, and if you pay monthly, you have 10 times 12 monthly payments. So always be careful if you talk about month or year, and then you have to think about a factor of 12. One final issue. We've talked about negative numbers. And within Excel, always if you have something or if you get something, the number should be positive. If you have to pay something or if you have debt, then the number should be negative. So if you calculate later on the installment, it should actually be a negative number. So maybe you have to pay 1,000 euros, then the result in here should be minus 1,000 euro.